Hey y'all, I'm Leslie Hooper. Welcome to my YouTube channel.
And I'm Steph Mitamontes.
Today we're going to be reacting to a video on John Deloney's page. He addresses a letter from a gentleman who wrote into him about the delicate subject of his wife gaining weight. He wants advice on how to approach her about this. Steph, we have covered this topic in the past and it is a juicy one. Definitely want to get your thoughts on this unique set of circumstances in comparison to the previous one that we did, but it was one of the very first videos that we ever created on this channel. So if you all want more of this type of content, then just scroll back a few months. All right, are you ready then?
I am ready. I'm looking forward to seeing how this is different from the last person.
Here's the question from Dean in South Carolina, canceled at the last minute. How can I address, or should I address, the topic of my wife's weight? Married for 13 years with one child. I love her, but her weight is becoming an issue. She's always too tired to do anything. She sits on the couch and plays games on her phone. Our intimate life is lacking. She turns me down a lot because she's too tired. I ask her to go to the gym and she's too tired. She says she wants to lose weight, but then does nothing about it. I'm not a small guy, but I go to the gym 5 to 6 days a week. She refuses to go back. I am concerned for her health. That is the email.
Okay, before we get John's insight here, I'm curious for your initial thoughts, Steph.
He's named several problems here under the guise of I just want my wife to lose weight. She has no energy. She won't go to the gym. She's tired all the time. She plays games on her phone. There's no intimacy. I'm not a small guy, but I go to the gym 5 to 6 days a week. She wants to lose weight. She doesn't do anything about it. I'm worried about her health. And while a lot of these things may be true, he probably wants more intimacy. That's fair. And he would like her to have more energy. Also fair. When we love someone, we care about their health, their well-being, when they're not living their best lives, and we can see it plain as day. All of that is fair, but it's also stuff she already knows. She's telling herself those things already. So it's not like, newsflash, here's what I see about you that you don't see about yourself, right? And so I think that he has some unmet needs going on, right? However, all of these things, energy, intimacy, connection, all of that has nothing to do with her weight. Her weight might be a result of certain lifestyle choices and things like that she's struggling with. But I just want to know why she's so tired, why she feels so shut down, why she feels so disconnected from him. I would be much more interested in her perspective now that we have laid out all of the problems on a platter. But what do you think?
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of different things going on here. It's hard to pinpoint the underlying issues when you don't have the actual person on the call to ask them questions, right? Because we're just getting it from his perspective. And it doesn't sound like he's done a whole lot of digging either to why maybe she doesn't want to be intimate or why she is so tired all the time. But what's more importantly, what's the barrier? What are the obstacles for her? We're missing a lot of context.
Losing weight is not a guarantee to increased energy, intimacy, and connection. And I think that's where the big issue is for me, is that, yeah, we can encourage her to lose weight. She could go on an 800-calorie diet and feel like shit and lose her hair while she's at it and still have no energy and work out 5 to 6 days a week and probably handle kids and household stuff and work and all the things too. I don't know for sure if that's their case, but there's a reason why people get stuck in the ruts they get stuck in, and weight loss in and of itself is not a solution to these problems. It can be helpful if it's done in a way that's supportive of these other issues, but sometimes people are so tired and so disconnected because they lack the connection, they lack the support, they lack all of the things that would give them enough energy to take really good care of themselves. So it might be a chicken and an egg type of thing.
Right. I don't think that weight loss is necessarily going to solve all of the problems that he laid out on the table. But if that is one of them for her, then, and that's something that she wants, then I do think it's worth exploring maybe what the roadblocks are in addition to the other things that you mentioned. But I'm curious to hear what Deloney has to say about it. So let's invite him back to the conversation.
Can I ask the two women in the booth? We all participate in this?
Happily, yes.
Should Dean address the topic of his wife's weight? Married for 13 years with one child.
I think there is a way to do it, yes.
Okay.
I don't know that it's the way he's currently doing it.
No.
But, I mean, there is a legit concern for somebody's health.
And so this email's got 15 different issues in it.
Right. Oh, there are issues.
Yes.
Yes.
Jenna, when you first hear this, what happens inside of your body?
Ew, I don't like it. No.
Okay, why not?
I don't like the way he keeps calling her lazy. I don't like the way that he says, I go to the gym 5 to 6 times a week. And not to mention, we talked about this before, they have one child. So we don't know how recent that was. Could be she's going through postpartum depression. However, I think, yes, address it, but Kelly said not the way we think he is.
So here's a whole bunch. This tells me this is a marriage in trouble, and weight is becoming the flashpoint of much bigger issues. So when I read this thing, and again, the caller bailed out, so we're just going to go with our side of the story here. Married for 13 years with one child. This is a tough season for marriages. Year 13, that year from 7 to 10 years, and it extends out a little bit. That's a tough season for marriages. So it's not uncommon for someone to be in year 13, they've got a kid, and they start to ask themselves, is this it? Is this what this is going to be? The answer to that question 100% of the time is it doesn't have to be. Any group can change, any marriage can change at any moment and say, we're going to do something totally different. But I love her, but it's like the old Southern, I don't want to gossip, but she's said something so bad. You would have made me redo that, so I didn't say it. I don't want to say anything ugly about her, but
Bless her heart.
bless her heart, she makes out with lots of boys, right? It's anytime you say the word but, I love her, but you just throw I love her out the window. It doesn't count. Her weight is becoming an issue. Then he transitions to she's too tired to do anything. She sits on the couch and plays games on her phone. Then he says we're not having sex. And then she says she rejects me a lot, which is different than we're not having sex. She rejects me a lot because she's too tired. I ask her to go to the gym, and she's too tired. She doesn't want to go work out with you, Beefcake 2000. There's a couple things here. I want to start with the obvious. I have a friend. I don't even call him a friend. I got a guy that I know who gets home from work, walks in the front door, and heads straight for the refrigerator, grabs a beer, goes and sits on the couch and turns the TV on, and does not move the rest of the night. Period. Doesn't. If there's no food being brought to him, he will just pull out his phone and order it. I've known this dude to order a single Jimmy John sandwich to his house just for him. He's got kids. That guy is lazy. Lazy. He's probably going through a bunch of crap and all that. He's got depression, whatever. That is lazy. There are people like that in the world. That may be the case here. Maybe. But this wife's not on the phone, so I'm going to go with probably not. Followed up with number 2. She's too tired to do anything. Hey, husband, maybe ask. Not in the middle of a heated fight, not when she's sitting on the couch looking half asleep, but on a date, on a Saturday morning. Hey, you look so exhausted. Like, I want to walk through our life, the life that we lead together, and I want to find things that I can take off your plate. I want to be a better contributor on this house. And your first thought might be, I work all day. I don't give a crap. What can I do to help in this season? How can I help everybody be less tired? Right? The next one is our sex life is lacking. She turns me down a lot because she's too tired. Maybe. Or maybe I'm too tired is a way to keep you off of her for any number of reasons.
And I will also say, if she's put weight on, she's well aware. She knows. Trust me. So she may not feel very attractive right now, because that's a legit thing. I understand that. She may not feel attractive.
And saying, I want you to come have sex with me is not a way to make somebody feel attractive.
Right.
Working really hard to let somebody experience that they are beautiful is totally different. Okay. I don't know how long I have to keep saying this, but men, trying to tell your wife how much you go to the gym as the precursor to get her to go to the gym is one of the toughest things you can do.
Because trust me, she already knows how much he goes to the gym, because chances are she's home by herself dealing with everything while he goes to the gym.
What are you saying, Jenna? I get to see you lighten up in there, man.
Yeah, no, that would put me off. Also, I just realized too, at the end, it says she refuses to go back. So in my mind, she's gone to the gym with him before. There's a reason now she's not going with you.
Yes. And so husbands are often guilty of saying, let's go to the gym. And wife goes. And then he gives her the Mind Pump Anabolic workout program that's about an hour and 20 minutes. And she's never lifted before. And go like, this is how you do squats. And this is how you do split squats. And she's, I don't feel comfortable in here. This whole day, everybody's looking at me. I like, what are we doing? The whole thing's awkward and awful. And then the next day, she's so sore that she can't breathe. And then he's snapping to a Slim Jim. And she's like, I'm not going back. Versus, hey, I'd love to go to the gym. You want to go to the gym with me? I've got my whole workout thing I'm going to do. And asking, is there anything I can help you with? And she can say, nope. Or she can say, I just don't even know how those things work. I don't even know what to do in there. I feel awkward and weird. Cool. Let's hire a personal trainer for 3 or 4 times. You can go by yourself. You can go on Saturday mornings when nobody's there. Or you can go at 10 a.m. when nobody's there, and we'll pay for childcare or whatever. But sit down and have that conversation versus just handing a workout and being like, go get them. Totally different program.
Yeah, or even instead of maybe jumping right to the gym, hey, why don't we start going for a walk?
Let's go for a
Just
walk.
getting outside and being together, maybe even having that time together of just you and her and having conversation, she'll open up more, because chances are she's probably dealing with stuff that she's not talking to him about.
Most of the time, especially to people we love. And I don't know why this is. It's one of the great mysteries of our world, but I have a PhD in counseling. You know who I don't give counseling advice to? My wife. But all I have to say is browbeating somebody into an exercise program is never helpful. Maybe sitting down and saying, hey, I go to the gym 5 to 6 days a week. I'm going to start going 3, which gives me 3 more days. It's a couple of hours a day between the drive there, the workout, and the drive back to go all in, plugging into this household. How can I help? Because I want you to know how much I love you. I want you to feel beautiful. I want you to feel like you've got some capacity to breathe and do some things that you want to do. And it's also fair to say, I feel like I'm losing you to your phone. That's different than you're always on your phone, but saying, I'm losing you to your phone. I'm losing you to the couch. I'm losing you to the television set. And I feel like you're having an affair with an electronic device. I miss you. Am I hard to be around? Am I hard to be with? So can I ask y'all one more question?
Sure.
So is there ever a place for your husbands to sit across the table and say, I'm struggling with being attracted to you right now? Or you've put on a whole bunch of weight in the last year or two, and I'm concerned for your health. I am struggling with attraction. I'm struggling with watching the person I love, how she feels about herself. Is there ever a place for that, in your opinion?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you love me any less. It probably means you love me more than I think you do, because you're willing to talk to me about this. But yes, attraction's a real thing.
And there's to me, it comes down to the way you do it and the reason you do it.
The reason is the most important, is because I love you so much and I want us to have this crazy sex life. And I want to want you kind of thing. And that says something, man, because that's going to be a big motivator for me. I think you're beautiful. I love you. And I want you to be healthier, because I know also when you feel better and you're healthier, you're more engaged. There's a lot of ways to do it that are appropriate and okay. Yeah, hard. Yeah, it's going to be hard. There's no question. But if you really love somebody and you intend for this relationship to continue, because if you don't, there's just going to breed resentment. You're going to find somebody else attractive.
Here's how my wife has done it for me in the few seasons over 20 years when I've just put on a bunch of weight, when I've gained 20 pounds doing this or doing that. The weight is almost always the canary in the coal mine. It's almost always the indicator that something in the ecosystem's off. And she has sat down and said, hey, you are snoring like crazy. And that's not who you normally are. And you're always tugging at your t-shirts now because they feel too tight. And I'm always tugging at them, tugging at them, tugging at them. And so she can rattle off 3 or 4 behaviors that I know what the ultimate signal is, that I'm out of control with my eating, or I'm using eating to soothe something that's going on in my life, or whatever that happens to be. And the fact that she loves me enough to say, there's a full picture here of my husband that's not whole, and I'm not okay with that because I love you. That's very different than, oh my God, you got fat. I don't even want to be with you anymore. Or God, you're lazy. Go to the gym. That's one of those going to shut me down. And one of those is, all right, I'm going to get with somebody because I know the answer. Good God, I work in this industry. I know the answers, but I need to get on the phone and call somebody. I'm going to reach out. I'm going to do whatever I need to do. Or I'm just going to suck it up, start going to the gym, even though it's going to be uncomfortable for a few weeks until I get the thing going. But it's rooted in love and compassion, not in judgment and blame.
Okay, Steph, obviously there is quite a bit to unpack there, but one thing that came up for me was there's just so much storytelling that they were taking this narrative in so many different directions, and we actually don't have all of the information, which is what makes these calls difficult to navigate. And then our brain just wants to fill in all the gaps. Well, maybe she has depression, or he is doing this thing. How do you feel about the suggestion, though, of him taking 3 days off from the gym and creating the space for her to go work out?
I think it really depends on the dynamics of their relationship, because if he is a taker when it comes to leisure time and leaves her to bear the brunt of all of the home responsibilities, then I think that is a fair suggestion. If that is a complaint in the marriage, is, hey, yeah, you go to the gym all the time, but I don't have time. And when I do have time, I'm tired. It's okay. Depending on what his goals are and his priorities and his values and hers and all the things, like, that's a very nuanced conversation, but it could be a solution. I think it could very well be a solution. My favorite one was, let's go on a walk together, because it solves the connection problem. It solves the phone problem. It solves the tired problem, and it solves getting off the couch. It solves so many things because it's, let's do it together. It's not going to tax him or ruin his workouts or anything like that. It's going to give something to her, and they get the time connection and all things just by going for a walk. It's a great way to start, and it's self-regulating in the fact that going for a walk really does help with your emotions and your feelings and it doesn't take a lot from you. Now, the other suggestions, some of these other conversations and suggestions, and there's a lot of assuming going on about the way he's communicating with his wife. I don't know that he's over there pounding his chest and being step into a Slim Jim. He might be. I don't know.
I know. It drives me nuts when they want to give the women all of the advantages and the dudes all of the disadvantages. And I get it, but that's not always how it plays out. It just feels like a kind of unfair assessment to me personally when I was listening to it.
I agree. And what I'm getting at here is that this assumes emotional intelligence on both sides to have a productive conversation. Coming to the table with any kind of, I don't find you attractive anymore type of stuff, or here are the solutions to all your weight problems, let me solve them for you, instead of coming to the table with curiosity of, okay, I get that you're tired all the time. What do you think's going on? How can we help you with that? Obviously, this isn't a normal way to live. I liked what he said about how his wife addresses it toward the end, but just coming to the table with all these suggestions and all of these different things really implies both parties have an emotional vocabulary to receive that information without getting their walls up, without being defensive, without being shut down and being offended. So it's a mess without being able to have both people in the room and have a conversation that says, hey, you could be thinking that your husband is nagging you and pressuring you and pushing you. You could be thinking that your wife is shut down, disconnected, and all of the lazy, whatever. But if you really look underneath the layers of the unmet need, husband cares. And he cares about the relationship, and he wants to do something about it so that he doesn't feel disconnected enough to no longer want to be in it. And she probably has some fears and insecurities and worries. I will tell you, when I was struggling with my body and body image, I felt so unsexy. I don't care how sexy my husband thought I was, didn't matter. I was like, I don't feel sexy, and sex is hard when you don't feel sexy. It just is. That's the reality. There is a conversation there in not let me fix you so you can feel sexy. It's how do you feel sexy? How do you feel taken care of? How do you get the energy that you need? And asking that party how you can support them.
Yeah, it makes me wonder how open and communicative they are in their marriage to begin with. If she's shut down and would rather spend time with her phone on the couch with the TV, then I'm not sure that he's invited a safe space for her to open up and be vulnerable. If she doesn't want to go to the gym with him, then there probably is a part of her that feels like he's parenting her in some regard, or again, just doesn't feel safe. She'd rather do it on her own. Although I'm not sure that those 3 days a week is what she would want to be doing with her time if she had it in the first place. So I wish both of them were here so we could get more context, more feedback, instead of just filling in these massive gaps. But it is a common problem, and I think a delicate one that couples don't really know how to talk about. I think that talking it out and understanding that there are ways to navigate this is helpful, but it's tough because I can see most women's wall going up immediately and not even wanting to hear the conversation, and then shutting down and distancing themselves even more. So
one thing that comes up for me as you're talking is that society has been socialized to believe that the physical form is attraction in a lot of ways. And I get that there's chemistry and preferences and whatever. But if you are living your best life, if you are excelling in something, if you are radiating joy, if something is going well for you, if you are in your element, the things that create attraction really center around energy. And when you have that attractive energy that you're bringing to the relationship, then oftentimes all of these other things start to fall into place anyway. It's like how we coach our clients to have a life outside of weight loss. And then all of a sudden weight loss kind of starts to happen because they're not so obsessed with perfection or failing. But when you really start to have this life, and it's hard to do after children, and I don't know how old her kiddo is. I don't know how much support she has. I don't know what she does with her time, if she has a job, if she's miserable in it, if she's happy in it, if she's given up her hobbies to be a mother and a wife and a caretaker. I don't know. But sometimes we think you need to lose weight so I can be more attracted to you, when in reality, it's I really miss who you were when we first got together before life got lifey. And that sunshine that you radiated, your interests, the things that really pulled me in. Because if the thing that pulled you in was the size of my ass, I got news for you, bud. No guarantees it's going to stay the same. And I can work really hard to do that, but that is not the sum of who I am. It's okay to say, hey, I'm attracted to a leaner body type or a muscular body type or whatever. That's fine. But usually people that are more attracted to, say, a leaner body type or more muscular or more fit or whatever, it's more about shared values than it is buns of steel.
And yeah, connection, similar interests, supporting one another's lifestyle. And I'll be totally transparent here. I've never in my life dated somebody consistently long-term who didn't work out on a regular basis because it's such and has been a big part of my life. And I value that, right? And so to see my partner, quote unquote, let themselves go, although that's not what I really mean, but I think the audience will understand what that means. To John's point, it's a byproduct, a symbol of something is not right within you. And that's what I would want to get to the bottom of, is something seems off here for you emotionally, and be willing to have that conversation, because I think that really speaks more to the root cause, which will ultimately, if somebody feels better about themselves or is kicking ass and taking names at whatever they do professionally or whatever kind of fuels their fire, then I think they're more inclined to take better care of themselves. I appreciate also how his wife approaches those kind of conversations with him, because that does seem to be a little bit more gentler way of getting to it, and also more accurate than, hey, let me just take time off so you can get to the gym, which to me is just missing the point.
Yeah, it is missing the point, unless I don't have time and support is the only barrier. And I'd also like to know how long this has been going on, because habits are a bitch. And sometimes we get in the habit of sitting around at certain times of day. We get in the habit of scrolling on the phone. We get in the habit of being tired. So if it's been going on for a really long time, then the approach can't just be, hey, you need to start coming to the gym with me several times a week or whatever. It really has to be about breaking the habit and figuring out what created the habit in the first place. What has taken her out of her life and out of her energy, and how long has that been going on?
And also, why does she want to spend more time with her phone than she does you? To an extent, that also suggests to me potentially there's been a loss of connection there, right? And so getting to what you said earlier, the walks, maybe opening up the opportunity to reconnect and have conversations, probably is a low barrier for entry in creating that space. Again, we are doing all of the assuming in this conversation. So anyway, that's it for me, Steph. Any final thoughts?
I will just say that as we do all of the assuming, we're uniquely qualified to fill in the blanks in because of what we do, and we see the patterns and we know why people fall into the ruts, because we talk to people about this shit all the time. You think we talk about calories and macros and how many servings of fucking fruit people need to eat? We don't talk about that. We talk about why they're sitting on the couch scrolling on their phone, feeling disconnected instead of getting up and taking care of themselves, and where their energy leaks are, and why they feel so damn exhausted all the time, and why life just feels so hard. So I will just say we are making some guesses here, but they're educated guesses.
Co-signed that for sure. All right, y'all, that is it for us today. I'd love to get your thoughts on this particular subject. How would you navigate this sensitive subject with your own partner? Or have you had that conversation already, and how did it go? Leave it in the comments, and be sure to like and subscribe on your way out. Have a great day, and we'll catch y'all on the next one.